Everything you thought was normal is a lie. Not a dramatic lie shouted from rooftops, but a quiet lie whispered so gently that you never resisted it. A lie that didn't frighten you, because it arrived wearing familiarity. Beloved one, pause for a moment. Look at your life. The way you wake up already tired. The way your mind starts running before your feet touch the ground. The way anxiety feels so common that you stopped questioning it. And tell me honestly, does this feel natural to you? Or does it feel rehearsed? What if the discomfort you feel is not your personal failure, but your soul's refusal to fully accept a false normal? You may feel unsettled already. That is good. Truth never arrives politely. Beloved souls, dear friends, you who are listening not just with your ears, but with a quiet ache somewhere deeper. This is not a talk meant to improve your life. It is a talk meant to interrupt it. From childhood, you were trained into a version of normal, so thoroughly that questioning it now feels dangerous. You were told how to live, how to succeed, how to love, how to suffer, and you accepted it because everyone else did. My friend, when madness becomes collective, it is renamed culture. And when suffering becomes widespread, it is renamed maturity. This is not about blaming society. Society is not a villain. Society is simply unconscious repetition. And today, beloved one, you are invited to step slightly aside, to watch instead of participate for a few moments. Something within you already knows what I am pointing toward. Otherwise, you would not be here. One of the deepest lies ever sold to human beings is this simple sentence: this is just how life is. Whenever something feels exhausting or joyless, this sentence appears like a sedative. A man hates his mornings. A woman feels empty in her routines. A young soul feels anxious without knowing why. And immediately the mind says, this is normal. Everyone feels this way. Beloved soul, pause and see the trick. The moment you call something normal, you stop investigating it. A child does not accept this sentence. A child asks why. Why must I wake up like this? Why must I do what I do not love? Why must I feel this tightness inside? But slowly, the child is trained out of curiosity. Questions are replaced with coping mechanisms. And coping is celebrated as strength. Dear seeker, have you noticed how often you endure instead of live? How often you survive instead of dance? This endurance has been mislabeled as responsibility. If life were meant to be a burden, existence would have made trees anxious too. Another lie hides in plain sight that speed is necessary. From the moment you wake up, you are late for something, late for productivity, late for success, late for becoming someone better, and slowly, rushing becomes your personality. Beloved one, rushing is not natural. It is psychological violence. The body moves in rhythms. The mind, when infected by ambition, moves in panic. Look at your own day. How often are you fully present with what you are doing? Eating while thinking, listening while planning your reply, resting while feeling guilty. This divided state has been normalized. But division is not life, it is fragmentation. A man once said, "I will slow down after I achieve enough." He achieved much. He never slowed down. Dear soul, pause and reflect. What if slowing down is not the reward, but the doorway? And yet, rushing is only the surface symptom. Beneath it lies something even more deceptive, something about who you think you are. Beloved one of the most dangerous things you were ever given was a name, a label, a role, and then told, "This is who you are." From that moment onward, life became a performance. You were no longer simply existing. You were maintaining an image, son, daughter, strong one, responsible one, failure, success. Slowly, the fluid mystery of your being was reduced to something manageable, something others could recognize. Dear seeker, have you noticed how exhausting it is to be someone all the time? A man once came to me and said, "I don't know who I am anymore." And I said, "Good. Now something true can begin, because confusion is not the problem, false clarity is. When you say, "I am this," you close a door. When you say, "Don't know," you open the sky. Beloved soul, pause and feel this. Who are you when no one is watching? Who are you when no role is required, no explanation demanded? What you call your identity is often only a collection of borrowed expectations. From early on, you were taught that your life must amount to something, that you must become important. And so, your present was sacrificed for an imaginary future. You were never here. You were always preparing to be worthy, preparing to be respected, preparing to finally relax. Beloved one, this preparation has no end. The horizon keeps moving. A woman once said, "Once I settle, I will be happy." She settled. Happiness did not arrive. A man said, "Once I am recognized, I will be peaceful." Recognition came. Peace did not. Dear soul, pause and consider, what if the future you are chasing is only a promise designed to keep you obedient in the present? Existence does not reward becoming. It celebrates being. But being cannot be postponed. Success and failure are two sides of the same coin, and both are counterfeit. They exist only in comparison. Someone else must lose for you to win. Someone else must fall for you to rise. Beloved soul, life itself does not recognize these categories. A tree is not successful because it grows tall, nor a failure because it grows crooked. It simply grows according to its nature. Yet you are trained to measure yourself constantly, against siblings, against strangers, against people you do not even like. This comparison quietly poisons joy. A man succeeds and becomes anxious, afraid to fall. Another fails and becomes ashamed, afraid to try. Both are trapped by the same illusion. Dear seeker, pause for a moment. What if your life was never meant to be measured at all? Freedom begins when you stop asking, "How am I doing?" and start feeling, "Am I alive?" Now we enter a very sensitive territory. Beloved one, relationships. You were taught that love means attachment. that care means control, that closeness means possession. And because everyone suffers this way, you call it normal. Jealousy becomes proof of love. Fear becomes commitment. Endurance becomes loyalty. A couple once said, "We cannot live without each other." What they meant was, we are afraid to face ourselves alone. Dear soul, real love does not need chains. It needs space. It does not demand, it invites. Pause and look honestly. How much of what you call love is actually fear of abandonment? How much togetherness is actually mutual dependency? And the greatest lie is still waiting. The lie that suffering itself is normal. Beloved soul, perhaps the most dangerous lie ever accepted by humanity is not about success, identity, or relationships. It is this quiet assumption that suffering is normal, that anxiety is just adulthood, that emptiness is realism, that numbness is maturity. From a very young age, you watched adults carry tension in their faces and heaviness in their voices. And because this was everywhere, you learned to call it life. Pause for a moment and look honestly. When did joy become childish? When did laughter become irresponsible? When did peace become suspicious? A child cries, and we say something is wrong. An adult lives in constant inner pain, and we say nothing. Dear seeker, this is not wisdom. This is conditioning. A man once said, "Everyone feels this way. I'm not special." And he was right, but not in the way he thought. Mass suffering does not make suffering natural. It only makes it widespread. Beloved one, pain can happen in life, yes, but a constant background of suffering is not life's design. It is a sign that something essential has been forgotten. Your suffering is not proof that you are broken. It is proof that you are living against your nature. Another deeply hidden lie is this, that your mind knows what it is doing. You were taught to trust your thoughts, analyze your emotions, control your inner world, and slowly the mind became the ruler instead of the servant. Beloved one, the mind is a beautiful tool, but a terrible master. Have you noticed how your mind rarely rests? How it replays the past, rehearses the future, judges the present. This constant noise has been normalized. Silence now feels uncomfortable. Stillness feels empty. Dear soul, pause and ask yourself, when was the last time your mind was quiet without effort? A woman once said, "If I stop thinking, I will lose control." But control is exactly the problem. Life does not need to be controlled. It needs to be lived. The mind fears silence because silence reveals something vast, something it cannot dominate. The moment you stop believing every thought, a different intelligence begins to surface. You were praised for adjusting, adjust to discomfort, adjust to noise, adjust to expectations, adjust to a life that does not feel right. Adjustment was called maturity. Rebellion was called immaturity. Beloved soul, reflect deeply. What kind of world requires you to constantly suppress yourself in order to function? A fish that adapts to polluted water is still dying, slowly, but it looks normal. Humans have learned the same trick. You learned to smile through dissatisfaction, to perform through emptiness, to function through inner collapse. And because you can still work, talk, and smile, no one notices the cost. Dear seeker, pause and feel this carefully. If adjustment was the solution, humanity would already be peaceful. But it is not. It is restless, anxious, divided. Adjustment has not healed you. It has only hidden the wound. And now, beloved one, we arrive at the final turning point when everything you thought was normal begins to dissolve. Fear arises because normal gave you familiarity, even if it gave you pain. But beneath that fear, something extraordinary waits: space, silence, a sense of being without effort. Beloved soul, when you stop chasing, stop comparing, stop adjusting, stop pretending, what remains is not emptiness. What remains is presence. And presence feels unfamiliar only because you were never taught to stay there. This is not a philosophy. This is not belief. This is a seeing. And seeing cannot be forced. It happens when you are ready to stop lying to yourself gently. You were not born anxious. You were trained. Beloved one, everything you thought was normal was a lie. Not because life is cruel, but because life was misunderstood. You were taught to live on the surface and then blamed for feeling empty inside. But emptiness is not your enemy. It is the space where truth enters. Do not rush to fix anything. Do not rush to apply this. Just see. Let this understanding sit with you quietly. Watch how much of your life is habit, not truth. Conditioning, not choice. If something within you shifted while listening, honor it. Share your reflection, not because you need validation, but because truth grows when spoken softly. Stay close if you wish to continue unlearning together, not to become someone new, but to remember what was never lost. Beloved soul, this is the most common question, and also the most revealing one. The moment you see that normal is false, the mind rushes to replace it with a new instruction. What should I do now? But notice the habit. The same conditioning that trapped you is still speaking. It wants another method, another rule, another direction to follow. My friend, there is nothing you need to do right now. Doing is how you were distracted in the first place. The lie did not survive because you were inactive. It survived because you were constantly busy. The invitation now is not action, but watchfulness. Let the seeing deepen. Let the false fall on its own. Truth does not require effort. Only lies do. Dear seeker, because comfort was part of the lie, you were promised security, familiarity, predictability, and you confused these with peace. Truth removes the furniture from the room. Suddenly, you are standing in open space. Nothing to lean on, no labels to hide behind. Discomfort does not mean something is wrong. It means something false is leaving. Imagine a man who has lived in chains so long that when they are removed, his wrists ache. Freedom hurts before it heals. Stay with the discomfort. Do not name it a problem too quickly. It may be your first taste of honesty. What feels unsettling now may soon feel light. This question comes from fear, beloved one, and fear deserves tenderness, not argument. You were taught that your control is holding everything together, that without constant management, life will collapse. But look carefully. Despite all your effort, anxiety still came. Despite all your planning, uncertainty still arrived. You are not held together by control. You are held together by life itself. When effort drops, something deeper supports you. Not immediately in a dramatic way, but subtly. You may feel raw at first, less armored, less protected, but also more real. Falling apart is sometimes just falling open. Beloved soul, seeing, the lie does not mean abandoning your life. It means meeting it without unconscious obedience. You will still care for your family. You will still work, speak, act. But the inner posture changes. You are no longer proving yourself. You are no longer surviving. Responsibility without awareness is burden. Responsibility with awareness becomes love. When you are no longer resentful inside, your actions become lighter. The same outer life, yet a completely different inner climate. Truth does not make you irresponsible. It makes you present. This is a painful one, dear seeker. When you begin to wake up, it can feel lonely. Others seem fine. They laugh, plan, complain, repeat. And you feel like a stranger among them. But remember, this comfort is not the same as consciousness. Many people are comfortable because they have numbed themselves skillfully. Entertainment, routine, identity, all excellent anesthetics. You are not disturbed because you are weak. You are disturbed because you are less asleep. Do not envy sleep. It looks peaceful only from the outside. Beloved one, no. There never was. If anything feels wrong, it is the old agreement breaking. The agreement to live half alive. The agreement to accept anxiety as normal. The agreement to postpone yourself indefinitely. What you are feeling now is not damage. It is sensitivity returning, intelligence returning, life returning. A numb hand tingles when circulation comes back. That pain is healing. Dear soul, notice something important. None of these questions needed a final answer. They needed space. They needed to be heard. Truth does not arrive as conclusions. It arrives as clarity. Do not rush to share this with everyone. Do not rush to label yourself awakened or different. Simply remain honest with what you see. Let false normalities continue to fall away gently. If something in you feels quieter now, stay with that quiet. If something feels shaken, stay with that shaking. Both are movements toward reality. You do not need a new life. You need a truer presence in the life you already have. Beloved soul, now there is nothing new to understand. Everything that needed to be said has already been heard. Not by the mind, but by something quieter. So allow the words to fade. Notice what remains when no one is speaking to you, when no idea is asking for agreement, when no insight is asking to be used. Just this moment, unadorned, unimproved. Dear seeker, Do not rush to name what you are feeling. Do not rush to decide whether this was helpful or confusing. Evaluation is old habit. Instead, feel how the body sits now, how the breath moves without instruction, how the mind hesitates, unsure what to do next. That hesitation is precious. It is the first crack where awareness enters without permission. Beloved one, notice this carefully. Nothing here needs fixing. Not your thoughts, not your life. The urgency to improve has been resting on your chest for years. For a few moments, let it lift. Life does not require your constant correction. It only asks that you stop resisting it. If discomfort arises, stay. If calm arises, stay. If nothing arises, stay. This staying is not effort. It is permission. You are not meditating. You are not practicing. You are simply not interfering. Truth does not need your participation, only your availability. Beloved soul, integration does not happen by remembering sentences. It happens by forgetting struggle. Later today or tomorrow, you may notice something small, a pause before reacting, a breath where there used to be tension, a moment of not knowing and not panicking. That is enough. Do not make it special. Do not protect it. Let it come and go. Now, even these words can stop. Stay with the sound of your own presence, the subtle sense of being here without explanation. No conclusion is needed. No promise is made. Just this quiet recognition: you were never broken. You were never late. You were never missing anything. Beloved one, when this ends, do not rush back into noise. Carry this softness not as an idea, but as a way of touching lives. And if you forget, that too is allowed. You don't need to understand this. You only need to notice something is quieter than before. That is enough. No conclusion, no instruction, no promise. Just stay.